awesome. Okay, good.
Yay!
It works, Gary. That's crazy.
Yay, we're still red. That's awesome. So, okay. So yesterday we began exponent rules, and we talked about, I didn't actually say what it was called. That was called the product rule. Product meaning, do you guys know what product means?
Yes.
When you have, what's the product of two numbers? What do you have to do to those two numbers?
Multiply.
Multiply, right? So we were multiplying what? Same bases with exponents, right? John? Focus, sure. Okay. Same bases with exponents, right? And we were multiplying them. And when we do that, what do you do to the exponents? You add the exponents, right? You keep the base and you add the exponents. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the quotient rule. What does quotient mean? The quotient of two numbers.
Divide by.
Divided, right? It means you're going to divide the two numbers. Okay. So let's say I had.
December.
Let's say I had. I'll just first give the number. Let's say we have 8, guys, to the 10th over 8 to the 4th. Okay? So guys, somebody's making noise. Please stop. Alright, so we have, this is my base, the 8 is my base, and the 10 is my exponent, my power, right? Base is 8, exponent is 4. So I have the same bases, and I'm dividing. Alright, so now we're going to do it the long way. We're going to do it the long way. This says what? 8 times what? 8 times 10?
No, 8 times 8 times 8 times
Oh, wait, you guys, there is a rule I forgot to tell you. It's very, 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 very important. And here's the rule. Never, ever, 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 ever,
How many evers are you doing?
ever multiply
Never multiply.
the exponent times
The base.
the base. Never,
Ever.
ever, ever multiply.
Or
All right?
Gary, you could just
Never,
say
it's
ever
never
to the-
10 times 8. It's
ever
never.
to the-
There is never a
ever
situation
to
where
the
it's 10 times
6th
8.
power.
The
Yeah.
only time it works is when your base is 2 and your exponent is 2.
I heard it.
Then you can do that.
It was like,
But that's the only time. But that's not really what you're doing when you do it.
What if
But
you're-
this is not 8 times 10. It's 8 times 8. 10 times, right?
8 times 10.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can I erase my rule
Yes.
so I don't have that in my way?
No, but that's the best rule ever.
I know, it's the great
Wait,
rule.
what are we gonna write for the quotient rule?
But I will tell you, you will never find that rule in a textbook. But it's a great rule. Really important to know.
This is
All
why
right.
we don't use textbooks.
What do I have down here? Right. What do I have downstairs? What do I...
8 times 8 times 8 times 8. Yes, I was right, because the
Okay.
8's cross themselves out, so you subtract the exponents. See, I was right.
You're right. Good job.
Well,
So what is, if we
Okay.
grabbed a piece of paper, let's say I just covered up everything except that. What does 8 over 8 equal?
8 over 8 is 1.
So could I just cross that out as a
Yeah.
big 1?
Oh, yeah.
What does 8 over 8 equal?
1.
Oh, I could cross that out. What's 8 over 8 equal? Oh, and 8 over 8, I can cross those out. So what do I have left? I have
8
1,
times
2,
8
3,
times
4,
8
5, 6. I have 8 to the 6th. Technically over 1, but that's the same as 8 to the 6th, right? Yes? Now, do you see a shortcut?
Yeah.
So that when we're dealing with bigger exponents, we don't have to write them all out the long way. So Dee Dee noticed it, so I'll let her talk about it. She
You
saw it
have to
first.
subtract the bottom exponent from the top exponent.
So when you have same
Or,
bases,
wait, okay, I have a question.
wait, let's just wait a second. When you have, let's just deal with what you just said first. Give them a chance to, give me a chance to deal with, respond to it. When you have same bases and you are dividing the bases, dividing the bases with exponents, then you subtract this, you go this exponent, and then I think of this long, fraction line as a huge minus sign. So 10 minus 4.
It's 6.
It's never 4 minus 10, it's 10 minus 4, top minus the bottom. Does that make sense? So you could have said this, 8 to the 10 minus 4, which is 8 to the 6th. How quick and how easy is that? That's awesome, right? That's really easy. Now, here, let me write the rule so you can see it. Do you guys have that down in your notes?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the rule. Yes, what's your question?
If 4 was on the top, would you just get a negative 6?
Yes,
Yeah. You always subtract the
If it
top
happened-
from the bottom.
right, exactly.
And you
I'll do a few of those. That's a great question, but I'll do a few of those in a minute. But here's the rule. The way you'll see it, a to the m divided by a to the n is equal to a to the m minus n.
God, Gary.
Okay? So do you see what that is? Does it make sense? The base is a, and the top has an m exponent, the bottom has an n exponent. So when you're dividing same bases with exponents, your answer is the base, that same base, but then it's the top exponent minus the bottom
Yeah, that
exponent.
makes sense. It's
Makes
just
sense.
letter.
It's just done with letters. But that's the way you'll see it as a rule, okay? You might see it as an x to the m and over x to the n. It doesn't matter what base letter I use, but sometimes I see them with a's in textbooks and I put it that way. Sometimes I don't. Anyways, so, all right, so now let's try a few. And then we're going to make it one step harder, okay? So here we go. Make sure, did you write that down? That rule down? And then, let's see. Let's try x to the 8 over x to the 3. What would that be? Are they the same bases?
Yeah.
They're the same bases. Okay, therefore they have exponents. I write my base, and then I do my 8 minus 3. Think of this as a huge minus sign. 8 minus 3 equals x to the what? Fifth power.
X to the 5th power.
Right. All right, let's try another one. How about we have x to the 3rd over x to the 10th? All right. Do I have same bases? I have same bases, so I can write my base. And I can write 3 minus 10, which equals what?
Negative 7.
X to the negative 7.
So it's x to the negative 7. Beautiful. All right. Now let's try, can I erase these?
Yeah.
Write all these down?
Wait, I didn't
You gotta
write
be
the
writing
first
all
one
these down,
down.
buddy. Right? That's why
Wait,
it's not so
Gary,
fun,
don't
because you're not writing these down.
Erase the first one. No.
Gotta write them down. Don't what?
Don't erase the top one.
Don't erase the rule. Can I erase these though?
The top one of those. Don't
All right.
erase.
So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just go like this.
I just didn't do the top one.
Okay, got it. So how about what if I did x to the 4th over y to the 5th? What would that be?
X and Y then 9.
X to the 4th of the y. Yeah, you can't simplify. You can't simplify them.
Are they same bases?
No.
No.
Well, then we can't use our rule, right? We can't use our rule if they're not the same bases. That's the rule. It has to be the same bases. Therefore, I just leave it the way it is. That's the answer. There's nothing I can do. I cannot simplify that any further. That's as far as I go.
X is always X, so X is always 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. But Y could be 7, 7, 7, or 8, 8, 8, or it could be 6, 6, 6, 6, 6.
It could be, but we don't know. But so you can't combine it. You can't just make an assumption.
You know what?
All right.
I will look up a solution.
So that's just going to be the same thing. X to the 4th over y to the 5th. Can't do anything. They're not the same bases. All right, here's another one. How about this? X to the 9th over x to the 9th. What would that equal?
X.
X.
X, just X.
X.
One X. The X at first power.
No, wouldn't it be X to the 9?
No, the X to the 0th power. 0. So it'd be 0.
So let's, okay, so Zane is saying it would be x to the 0. Let's see how. So are they same bases?
Yeah.
So I can put the base here, and I can do 9 minus 9. What does that equal?
0.
0. So x to the 0.
Which is
Now-
technically x, right?
No, it's 0.
Now the question is, what does x to the 0 equal?
0.
This is a whole different rule, but
Oh yeah.
what does, now let's go back to our, wait, guys, listen. You want to say something?
Yeah, because the rules refer, if it would be x times 0, then it would be 0. Because anything multiplied by 0 will automatically.
But it's
No,
not
it
x.
wouldn't, because
But
it's not, but
remember-
it's not x times 0.
To the 0th
It's-
power, it's just x times itself 0 times.
But
so
you
it's
could
not-
think about it.
So it's just
You could think
It's-
about it like this.
It's
It's
an infinite paradox.
It's the if you think about it like this, that it's saying how many x's there are. There are if you so there's x to the first power. That's whatever value x is. So x to the 0th power. There's no x's anywhere. It's like gone.
Okay, so
Wait.
Didi, so,
But
go ahead.
that wouldn't be right though, because
Right.
it's basically saying that, because the whole point of powers is okay, let's say x is 2. Then x to the second would be 2 times 2 times 2 times
X
2.
times x.
X times x, which is 2 times 2, and then it would be 4. But if it was just 2 times 2, 0 times, it's just 2, because it doesn't have to change.
Okay, so the weird thing is, it's hard to understand what this is until you go back to the original fraction.
Oh, it'd be 1.
What is, well, when you have a fraction with the same value
just
upstairs
cross
as
out the line.
downstairs, what would that equal?
1.
1. What's 10 over 10?
1.
1.
1. What's 7 over 7?
1.
What's x over x?
1.
What's x to the 9th over x to the 9th?
1.
So when you have a 0 exponent,
Doesn't it just mean x to
it
the
just
first?
means it's 1.
Okay.
Anything. Anything raised to the 0 exponent is 1.
Anything.
Anything.
Any.
Gary raised to the 0 exponent is number 1. Oh, sorry. Okay. So where are we? All right, so now we're going to make it a little harder because you guys know this stuff, okay? It makes sense so far.
Wait, but Gary,
Wait, we're not, that's a whole different rule that I don't normally cover, but I just want to see, you guys figured it out. You figured out that rule. But I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow,
Wait, then would
but
it,
not today.
wait, I have a question.
Yes.
So would it equal 1 or would it equal x?
It would equal 1, because x to the 9th over x to the 9th
Even-
is 1.
We equal 1.
Anything to the 0 power is 1. X
Okay,
to the
so,
4th.
wait, say, okay, can
Guys,
you like,
look, same thing, top and bottom.
I'm
That
gonna
equals 1.
understand it better if it's a number.
Gary, do like
Okay, so
Okay.
2 to the 8th power
Over 2.
over 2 to the 8th power. Maybe I shouldn't make such a big number.
Okay,
Let's
they'll
make
both
it easier.
cross out.
Let's say 3rd power, right?
Other power.
They're the same number, up and down. Therefore, that equals 1. So if you have the same thing upstairs as downstairs, it's going to be 1. And if you
Okay.
use the shortcut, remember the
So if you think of it
shortcut
as a
is just
fraction.
that. It's a shortcut.
So
And the
it's a
shortcut sometimes messes you up a little.
Okay, that makes
Does
sense.
that make
I
sense?
get it now.
okay, but okay, then what? Here's if you have x to the first power, then it's still just it's x. But if you never mind, I get it.
But it's not x to the first, it's x to the 0.
Amanda, now you're just confusing me. I
Yeah,
had it in my mind.
but Didi, sometimes with the shortcuts, like x to the 0 doesn't really intellectually make sense
I get it.
until you go back to the original fraction. Does it make sense? But you guys figured that one out. That's cool. All right, so now we're gonna make it one step harder. We're gonna include numbers in front of the variables. What are those called?
Coefficient.
Coefficients. Okay. So let's say I had 2x to the 4th over 4x squared.
That-
Now suddenly this looks so much harder.
No,
That's
because
a-
it's
But
just,
it isn't. It isn't. So you think of it as two separate fractions.
just 6x to the cube.
You
It's
think
just 6x
you think of it as You separate them.
So it's 1/2.
It's 2/4. Can we simplify 2/4?
Yes,
Yeah.
to 2.
So 1/2. So the first thing I do,
Wait, what?
John, you're paying attention? The first thing I do is I look at just the 2/4 and I say, I pretend the x to the 4th and x squared is not there. I just look at 2/4 and I say, can I simplify that? And I can. I could divide top and bottom by what? 2. So 2 divided by 2 would be what? 1. 4 divided by 2 would be what? 2. Okay, then I put my equal sign and I write 1/2. You with me? Now, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to pretend this isn't here. I'm going to look at this. It's x to the 4 divided by x to the 2. Are they same bases?
Yes.
So I'm going to write my base, x, and I'm going to do 4 minus 2. What's 4 minus 2?
2.
Right. So I could say 1/2 x squared, right?
Oh my God.
So that could be my answer. That is a legitimate answer. Now, it's 1/2 times x squared. Do you agree with me? Right? That's the operation. It's times x squared. So where would the x squared go if I wanted it all in the same fraction? On the top, right? Because it's a whole number. There's no fraction there. If it's a whole number, it always goes to the top, right? So I could also write it as this, x squared over 2. I could do 1x squared over 2 or just x squared over 2 because it's the same thing. Do you understand? Do you see that? All right, so let's try another one. Let's try a few. Let's try 6 x to the 10th over 9x to the 5th. All right, I'm going to first ignore the x to the 10th over x to the 5th.
2/3.
I'm only going to do 6/9. And what can I divide top and bottom by for 6/9?
3.
3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So immediately I write my 2/3 over here. And then, do I have same bases for the x's?
Yes.
All right, so I write my x. And I have 10 minus 9. 10
That's 5
minus...
here.
That's 5, Gary.
I was just seeing if you guys were. Okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, and then that equals 2/3 x to the 5th, right? Or if I wanted to write it as, this is totally a legal answer, or I could say 2 what? X to the 5th over 3.
Over 3.
Fist to 5. Do you understand this? I hope you're writing all this
Wait,
down.
isn't it 2x to the negative 5th?
No.
Oh wait, oh, it's 10 minus 5. Never mind.
You gotta have these down. You
Hit
can't do these without knowing how to do them. Question? Fist of, oh, that was fist of 5. Got it, sorry. Do the fist of 5 one more time. Are you guys feeling like it makes sense? Do you want me to do one more?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
One more. We have 3 minutes. I can easily do, can I erase?
Yeah.
So you need to focus on this, not him. Focus on this. Write down everything. Make sure you write down everything. But I'm going to have to erase now, right? So you're not going to have it. You have to write down everything that's on the board. All right, here we go. Let's try, how about 10x to the 22nd over, I don't know, how about 25x to the 11th?
Oh my God.
So what? First of all, I ignore my x's completely. I just look at my 10 over 25. What can I divide both by?
5.
5. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So I immediately write my 2/5 over here. And now I deal with I have same bases, right? So I write x to the 22 minus 11, which is equal to 2/5 x to the 11th, right?
Or x to the 11.
2x to the 11th over 5. Both of them are the same thing.
Which
Okay.
answer would you prefer on that?
I'm okay with either. That's fine. A lot of times when I do it, I tend to put this answer And the reason why is because as we move into more complicated ones, this is the more the way you're going to see them as the answer for a more complicated one.
I thought the 11
Okay.
was close.
But that's awesome, you guys. You got this really well. I'm impressed. So at least I think you did. So good job. So that's exponent rule number 2 and number 3. You figured out. In fact, since I have a second,
0 divided by 0 is always
5
0.
seconds. I have 5 seconds to do
Plus
this.
everything.
This is that other rule, the zero,
Therefore you have
the
to-
zero, I don't know what it's called, the zero exponent rule.
And-
But anyways, x to the 0 equals 1. We just figured that out, right? Right? Because that was x to the 3rd over x to the 3rd is equal to x to the 3 minus 3, which is x to the 0. And the same upstairs, downstairs, it has to equal 1. But that is a shortcut rule so that then when you get anything to the 0 power, then you know it. So I could give you something like this. I could give you something like this. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Down.
Sounds like a nightmare,
Write
but I
this
just
down.
raised it to the 0 power.
Write this down.
So what's the answer? 1.
C
Good job.
over
Okay guys, good job. That's it.
parentheses.